Come on. There we go. All right. It says we're live. So, welcome from the Crossroads of America. Talk show about guns, politics, or anything else that crosses my mind. Answer questions from the audience. Either put them in the chat or email me at rickslifeasIseeit@gmail.com or spottedrick@gmail.com. I got a Patreon page, and PayPal and all the other good stuff is down in the info below. So there we go. And what was I gonna say? So I'm trying to walk and chew gum here. Okay. Let's see. In the chat, first in was Kingpin, then Jerry Parker, gun-loving grandpa. Right, that's it so far. But I guess I start coming in once people get notified if they're around on this beautiful Saturday afternoon. And introduce my panel that we've got so far. We've got Will and Well Armed. How you doing?
I'm doing good, Rick. Thanks for having me.
No problem. Then we got from behind enemy lines, New York Outcast.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you've been behind enemies too long. You're getting so negative. You're.
No,
I used to be like you until I got.
It's not negative. It's practical. You just got to account for all the factors.
Okay, then we got.
Assume everything goes your way.
Yeah, I personally believe Kingpin's behind enemy lines too. So, how you doing, Kingpin?
Afternoon, boys. Good to see everybody.
Good to see you. Have been a while.
Yeah. Things have been a little bit busy on this side of the internet.
Yeah, that's always better than be busy than not working, I guess. You know. Anyway, I was just saying before you came in, because I've been trying to look for land. I know I got a bad back and everything else, and I move slow, but going not off grid per se, but homesteading is the way I look at it, or small hobby farm or whatever. Few chickens, I like to have a couple of hogs, maybe, I only need a couple of acres. But I said I found one here. What was it? Where was it? I just saw it. I lost it again. Where the hell was it?
3 acres next to state forest land that has access.
Oh yeah, here it is. Yeah,
water and sewage.
3 secluded wooded acres. Has water, electric, and access to the USA forest. No restrictions for buildings. $29,000. Yeah. Now, that's listed in the real estate section. Now, there's another big advertisement in here for some other stuff nowhere near me in Indiana, but that one advertises owner financing available. See, that's what I need. I need the owner to carry the note.
Was the first one, the $29,000 one? Would you have to pay all cash for that?
Well, I don't know. It's just got a hang on.
I mean, most
it's got a realtor's number here, so I can call them and ask them.
Yeah, I mean, $29,000 cash is an absolute insane request to make of anybody on planet Earth. So I mean, you got to imagine that there's a mortgage that's going to come along with that.
Yeah, well, I mean, if the owner of the land can hold the note, the way I look at it, $29,000. I pay roughly rent here, right? Is roughly almost $7,000 a year, right? So what? In 3.5 years, I got to have that paid off, and it's mine.
You got pretty good credit, right?
It's okay.
nothing like, 2 or 3 bankruptcies or anything like that, or,
No.
back child support or anything holding you
No.
up. I can go for it, man.
Yeah.
When it says wooded, does that mean that it's a lot in the forest, or does that mean that there's some trees on the property?
Well, it depends depends on a realtor how he labels it.
Well, that's what
I've
I'm
never
saying.
seen it, so I don't know.
If it's a forest lot, you're not gonna. I mean, that's more work than you can do.
Yeah, but here you go.
Because you
Okay,
can't just
it
plant a
says
garden in a
has
forest.
water, electric, access to the forest, no restrictions for building. So if it's wooded, though, I mean, you have to see what kind of trees it is. I mean, you say that you sell the trees off to get you some working capital.
Yeah, can you go online and look at a picture of it?
Well, I plan on doing that. I only just found it before we went live.
Yeah, I
So
mean, if it's got some trees on it, so big deal. Like you said, you can turn those trees into money
yeah,
or barter them off or something like that. But if it's like a woods lot, then I mean, you can't grow a garden in the forest. It's just not gonna work.
oh, I know.
The realtor site will probably have a picture online too if you go to their website.
Yeah,
They
I
usually
plan to.
have like it kind of like yellow or different color survey lines and whatnot. Usually they give a general idea.
Yeah. So anyway,
I like the sound of that first one. The $29,000 one sounds pretty good.
oh yeah. I mean, Max. I mean,
You
and
guys
that's,
haven't even seen it. You haven't even seen it.
that's got. I mean, Mr. Negative again. Yeah. Yeah.
Hey man, that's a lot of money. You should at least step foot on ground. Evaluate. Is it near a
Oh,
flood zone?
absolutely. I mean, I'm not.
You got a
Yeah,
lot to look into. What are the taxes? My goodness. What if they
Who
spot
said that
Bigfoot
it
on
wasn't
your
gonna do
land?
all that stuff?
They're gonna stroke of a pen just take your land over, or some bird that's extinct or something.
Who said
Man,
anything
you
like
got a
that?
lot to look into.
Yeah. You know, I tell you, you're something else. You really are. Anyway, my title. I mean, I know all kinds of YouTube shit's been out today and beat me to it. Even Caliber Corner took my topic this morning. But 9/11.
You sure you don't want to just talk about the homestead instead of 9/11? Because I'm going to piss everybody off today.
Well, no. I mean, my title says 20 years on. Have we forgotten? And I believe this country has. It's forgotten or it's lost its backbone. Or both. And I mean, personally, I think for a few years, I forgot. But then when I got back into firearms, it made me look more at what's going on around the country and around the world. And we ain't what we used to be. I mean, when 9/11 happened, I can tell you exactly where I was. I had to start work at 7 a.m, so I was working for the government then. I was at New London Submarine Base, and I was with my boss, and he goes, "Get a coffee?" I said, "Yeah." So we walked next, because I worked in the commissary, which is a supermarket on base, and in the big plaza we're in, it was all indoors, air conditioned, had sliding doors. So we went through sliding doors out into the mall type area to the coffee booth, and we're getting the coffee, and had TVs all over the place, and that's where I was standing when it happened, looking at the TV, going, "Oh shit," But I wasn't. All I know is within 5 minutes, it felt like maybe it was a bit longer. Maybe it was 10, 15 minutes of that happening. The base was shut down, tighter than a drum. You couldn't get in, you couldn't get off. And I never seen the military move so fast in my life. They had a Hummer with an M60 on it sitting at the main gate within seconds. and you could move. Then eventually, after we were stuck there for a couple of hours, they closed everything down. All non-essential personnel had to leave the base. And so, being a civilian worker, they said I was non-essential. But as I'm leaving, they said, oh, by the way, you're management, so you're essential. You can leave today, but you've got to come back tomorrow, because of basically the groceries, the refrigeration, all the perishable goods. Somebody's got to keep an eye on them. So then the following day I had to go back. It took me 4 hours to get on base because of the lines. Them searching, they searched your car, they searched you. Then you had to go through that checkpoint. Then you had to go through a second checkpoint and done the same thing. It was unbelievable. But so I know where I was during that time. But, the country came together for that one. But we don't anymore. What are we doing now? How can I put this? We pamper to everybody else. We don't want to hurt their feelings. They get mad at us if you want to blame. You blame the Chinese for the pandemic. Oh, you got to be nice to the Chinese. Not all Chinese are bad. You got to be nice to all the Arabs. I'm not saying. Don't get me wrong. I know some people who are from Iran and all that Middle Eastern area, and they seem okay to me. But problem is, we got to bend. Well, they don't like it. You treating them so bad. Now, hang on. Where I'm going with this, you go to Afghanistan or you go to one of those Middle East countries, and the woman has to cover her face. It doesn't matter if you're there on vacation or whatever. You have to follow their rules. You go to a foreign country, they expect you to speak, at least make an attempt of speaking their language. What was that old saying? When in Rome, do what the Romans do. Come to America, do what the fucking Americans do. But no, we fucking bend over backwards and let them shot us in the ass with no Vaseline. It's just pissing me off. That's all I got to say on it. So, who's next? Go on, Kingpin. Lay it on us.
All right, where'd you start at, man? The reason that we're soft is because we're soft. That's why. And you blame it on everybody else, but it's our fault. We let all this stuff happen. So when you're outraged at what's going on in the government, look in the mirror and thank yourself because you did that. Now, just the gay thing, the Muslim thing. By the way, just like the Stop Asian Hate, after 9/11, there was not a rash of anti-Islamic, anti-Muslim hate crimes going through America. They made that up. They made that up.
And they continue to make it up. They keep saying it over and over and over, and we just complacent cows just sit over here and take it.
Right on. We went from no, I'm not going to have that to what's the big deal? Why do you care? What do you care what somebody does behind their own doors? Well, if they're not showing your face.
January 6th is all about the same thing. It's the same mechanism. It's to keep us from protesting. Because now, if you protest, all they have to have is some bad actors in there, and then they start coming and arresting everybody that showed up.
Yeah, you're right. And talking about January 6th, they're going on how bad it is, insurrection, storming the Capitol, all this. Not one even though some of them are still in jail, they haven't had their day in court yet. But not one of them is being charged with an insurrection crime or any of that stuff. They've been charged with obstructing an official or some shit.
January 6th, and any honest person that was there, that's got a little bit of heart. I know there were some regular normies there. I talked to a lot of people that day, and not one person was angry with what was happening. Not one. I'm talking about little old grandma to the teenagers to everybody. January 6th was a big pushing match. That's all that happened January 6th is maybe 100, maybe 200 people were pushing some cops around. That's about it. Cops were having their shields taken from them, and the people were giving them back. This one time, a can of wasp spray made it to the front of the crowd, and it was thrown to the back of the crowd because those people weren't going to spray the cops with wasp spray. Cops' batons were getting taken from them, and they were giving them back. The very first fight that broke off where I was standing, a bunch of cops hit this dude with the fence, and as he was falling, his girl went to go pick him up, and they clubbed the girl over the head. When she went down, the guy, the cop standing there arguing with the dude that got hit with the fence, fell over and fell into a crowd of insurrectionists. You know what they did? They picked him up on his feet and let him go. They didn't kick him. They didn't push him. They didn't yell at him. He hit the ground, and the people that were supposed to be there to kill him picked him up and put him on his feet and let him go back to the rest of the cops.
Yeah.
And by the way, back to us being a bunch of bitches. A whole bunch of people sat home not knowing nothing, and I disavow January 6th. That's not what patriots do. That's not what Americans do. If you said that, then I think you're a bitch.
I agree with you. I mean, that was a protest. You know?
The cops
In
attacked us.
one of my videos, you can see an officer in full riot gear walk right by, unmolested, nobody bothering him, on his own, separated from the group to come through the crowd. Obviously, in my opinion, not in fear of the crowd.
Those cops attacked us. And look, I'm not above admitting it. I went down there to have a good time and to rally it up and hopefully meet some of my friends here that were going down and stuff like that to enjoy the rally. And that was really good, man. I talked to a ton of super cool people. I mean, it was just a really good environment, but it was a setup. Those Capitol Police were left out there to be slaughtered because that's what they wanted to happen. And for the terrorist Proud Boys were standing there in front of the police, looking at the crowd, saying, "These guys aren't our problem. These guys don't. These guys were on our side." The Proud Boys, that are the biggest terrorists in the world, were telling the crowd, "Don't mess with the cops. Leave the cops alone. Leave them alone. Leave them alone." And until the cops started pepper spraying people and hitting people with batons, there was no pushing and shoving. There was a bunch of yelling and finger pointing and cussing and chest sticking up, acting, just talking trash. And then for whatever reason, the cops started launching pepper balls and started spraying people in the face and hitting people. And that's when the pushing and shoving started. There wasn't nobody batoning cops. I told everybody the day that Brian Sicknick died, they didn't beat that man with a fire extinguisher. His family came out January 7th and said he had no physical damage on him whatsoever. None. Zero.
Yeah, I know.
What I thought was strange is, and you can see in some videos as well, after the initial gassing will state, if you're trying to push people back, where do you think you would, shoot canisters? Would it be behind them? Because that's where a lot of them ended up getting shot after a while. Even back off onto the side to stay out of the way. Basically, I was almost hit with one on video. So basically, it's I just thought that was a little strange how they actually dealt with that too.
Yeah. What I find strange is
real quick before you.
Yeah.
The pushing and shoving was also the reason that the screaming and arguing was there and turned into pushing and shoving is because 10 minutes earlier, thousands of people were looking at the Capitol building from the Washington Monument and seeing the cops move the fences. and seen the cops wave people up into the Capitol building. I talked to that guy with the horns. He walked right by me and he said, "Oh, excuse me." I said, "All right, excuse me, man. How are you?" And he was like, "All right." That was the whole conversation I had with the guy. And everybody was like, "Dude, that's nuts." Because it was cold out. He was like, "That dude's nuts. He ain't got no clothes on." He didn't have a drop of pepper spray on. He didn't have a scratch on. You think with all the fighting that they show you on TV, you think that guy got through all that fighting with that helmet on? Come on now. Plus, then we got the little grandma standing there with her flag, the one that they arrested. You think she fought her way into that building? Come on.
Yeah, I know. Then they supposedly claim what's her name was busting her way through the door to get into the chamber, and that's why she was shot. Yeah.
That is on video, but I still think that's ridiculous personally, because I'd be in trouble if a woman was breaking into my house unarmed and I shot her. So at least in my state, that's what it would be. So, and just because you may legally be able to, should you? I just don't see that she posed a threat like that personally. But that was on video. And the video I've seen on TV, they don't show the officers on the stairs right to the right. I believe it was 3 officers with rifles. You can see it on other videos if you search online, or you could, that basically rose their rifles up inside the corridor, unsure of what exactly was happening. So there was almost a friendly fire incident too. So, I mean, if it was such a tragedy what was happening, why did 3 officers stand right there within 10 feet of the girl and not do anything? So I don't think it was a justified shooting. Personally, I think that guy's a freaking punk, and they want to make him look like a hero.
Well, what I want to know is, like, in the last day or so, they're putting the fencing back up.
That guy lied throughout his entire deposition. If you go back and listen to that guy, the cop that shot Ashley Babbitt, his entire deposition, word for word, every bit of it's a lie. And I'm not saying that. That's factual that he lied. He said they couldn't see through the door, and then there's video where you can see through the glass all the way down to the other end of the hallway. And then, like Rob said, there was 3 armed SWAT guys standing right behind Ashley Babbitt the whole time. There was 3 or 4 cops standing in front of the door, and all the dudes were yelling and screaming at him. One dude punched the glass behind him. None of them touched the cops. None of them even brushed up against him, like bumped the chest like he did back in middle school. None of them did anything like that. The cops didn't have their guns out. They didn't even have their hands up. And then I guess they were given the order to abandon the door, and they just walked right away. No pushing, no shoving, just let's go, guys. And they just walked right away.
Yeah. I know. But anyway, where I'm going, back to our original thing, we went slightly off topic there. Good info, though, but you're right, is where has America's backbone got to? I mean, even if you take this last bullshit, I mean, it's got to be deflection. I mean, all these goddamn stupid ass mandates he's coming up with, with the federal government. I mean, actually, in some ways, I hope thousands upon thousands of unvaccinated federal employees walk off the job. We need to thin the government out. You know what I'm saying? But what are they going to do? I mean, do people have the balls? I mean, I said it. I mean, do I? I mean, he hasn't done it yet. But if you listen to what he said was 100, he wants businesses, 100 or more employees all got to be vaccinated. But then he also said nursing homes, medical facilities that accept Medicare or Medicaid. So that means your doctor's office accepts my Medicaid, my Medicare insurance. So that means, say, the 8 to 10 people he has working in his doctor's office all have to be vaccinated because they accept Medicare. See, I mean, I think people miss that part. So he's trying to get everybody. I mean, right now, I'm still good. But if he said, if it came down and said to me, you're not going to get any Medicare unless you be vaccinated, or you're not going to get your Social Security check until you've been vaccinated, I'm screwed. I mean, I'm more, because I truly am not prepared to survive without those two. Medically, I need the medical for my disability and stuff, and I need my Social Security because that is my income. So I can understand.
You're right where they want you to be.
Exactly, they've got me because I'm one of the unprepared ones. I mean, but how many like me is there?
Still got a choice.
And these hundreds and thousands of people who are unvaccinated. How many of them actually going to walk off the job? Because if they did, all these companies would be screwed because they can't find people to work now. You know? So I don't know. But I still want to know why the fence is going back up around the Capitol. Is he afraid of all this mandate that he feels that we're going to come charging down on him on the Capitol again? I don't know. I don't know the answer for any of this. I really don't. I was hoping you guys had stuff. You know? Roll call says conform, comply, obey. That's what it's coming to. I mean, I don't want to, and until, and I'm not going to unless they absolutely force me into a corner. But I know it's a choice. Yeah. But is it a choice? I mean, is it a choice?
You got background noise continuously coming from Wheel. I don't know if anybody else is hearing it, but
I'll turn it on.
No problem.
I was trying to mute it before, and it just kept turning me off.
All right. So we all done now? Oh, yeah. Okay. I think the noise is gone now, isn't it? So, all right. So what you were saying, New York? Who was talking?
I was trying to cut in to say that. On what you were speaking of, I guess, I think you still have a choice. And that's one of the most American things when you try to force people to do something. They say, hell no, that's America, kind of in a way. So, but nowadays, everybody is soft and complacent and docile or whatever, and are going to put money first in most places. So I would state maybe 20% are going to walk away or force getting fired. But with the issues we're having now with the supply chain, even 20% in some areas could be devastating, especially, in some aspects, healthcare. So, because from what I hear locally from somebody that actually works at the ICU, the issue isn't beds or anything. It's the issue staff, because there's already a huge number of the medical staff that don't agree with being forced to take this. So, which has already affected the medical facility. And now this on top of it, it's just going to be a little worse. So I don't know. I think, some people will make that choice. I think a lot of people are having that conversation lately, at home with family members, things like that. But as a whole, most people take the easy route, unfortunately. When you look back to our founding fathers, things like that, some of the sacrifices people have made, I think today the average person is kind of a joke. They can't even, be bothered to show up to a rally. So, I don't know. It's kind of a crap deal. So we'll see how it plays out.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, it's the unvaccinated who are stopping this country from going forward. The unvaccinated are the problem. I mean, basically, that's what I heard when I actually sat there and listened to his speech. And it was so hard to sit there and listen to him because he's such a senile motherfucker. He really is. Patriot in the Dark says, look on the positive side. Think of how many small businesses are going to start up with under 100 employees. Yeah, that's possible, but I doubt it. You know, I mean, I don't know. As I said, I'm unprepared. So they got me by the short and curlies. If they don't touch my Medicare or touch my Social Security, I'm good to go. I'm fighting it all the way. As I said on Wednesday, I went to the doctor's the previous Friday, and he tried to give me the speech again about getting vaccinated. And I told him I don't want to hear it, doc. I ain't doing it, and that is the bottom line. You know? Also, nothing. If they, from what I understand, it's only the Pfizer Unitech or whatever you call it, one that was being approved. Right? Well, they're not using the Pfizer one here in Indiana. Not in this part of Indiana where I'm at. They're using the other one, the one that begins with
anywhere. Got to get rid of that liability-free rounds first. So
Actually, it wasn't approved. They just got an extension. That was a whole misnomer, from what I heard.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. But where I'm going with this is, I mean, even there, he said, I mean, our problem was it was experimental. He said the FDA's approved it. So where's the problem? But whether they extended it or not, they've only done it on one. There's three types floating out there. And the Pfizer one is not in this part of Indiana.
You do know. It's not. You can't. Don't say you don't know, because you do know. Because I've told you already. I told you word specifically already. All the million vials of shots out there, no matter what name on it, they're all the experimental jabs. All of them. The Pfizer, what they did was they came up with a new recipe, slapped a new name on it, and that somehow, without one single drop ever being produced outside of what's written on paper or a computer file, that got FDA approved. That doesn't exist except for the name. That's it. So even if you go get the Pfizer joint, it's still the experimental one. Like Wield said, that got an extension. None of these shots. Coronavirus is fake. I've been telling you all that since March 2020 or whenever this whole thing came up. And if you guys want to continue to play it, then I can't. There's nothing else I can do for you. I've already told you there's trillions of amounts of evidence out there, but if you don't want to pay attention to it, then that's on you guys. Go ahead and just go get the shot. Go get the shot and then win $1 million, Rick, and buy your property.
No. That isn't. I don't want to get the shot. I don't plan on getting the shot.
Yeah, but you will, because you've already given yourself enough excuses that it's just a matter of time until you do it. So you might as well just go ahead and get it over with.
Yeah. No,
if you take the regular flu shot, you're taking the daggone jab anyway.
And it's publicly been stated that the manufacturers their employees don't have to take it. White House and the immigrants coming through that are being brought in now. Like, they don't have to take it, but you better.
Now, remember healthcare workers were heroes. The lunch lady that works at the hospital is a hero now. Now, go look in your news. And was it Rob or was it Wield? One of you guys already mentioned the healthcare workers that are refusing to take it. Now they're being fired.
Oh, yeah.
I was a hero yesterday. Now I'm a terrorist, and you're fired. I'm a bioterrorist, so you're firing me.
Oh, yeah. There is more. There's more health workers who have not had the vaccine than what mainstream media is telling you. You know, there's quite. I think, what is it? Over 40% of healthcare workers do not have the vaccine. You know, and why? Even though I don't watch it anymore, but you still see it in the news. Why do a huge percentage of professional athletes don't have the vaccine either. You know, why? You know, so there's got to be something to it.
The question's not to ask why LeBron James doesn't have the shot. Ask why Chuck Schumer is not going to mandate him to get the shot when he comes to New York. But if you go visit Rob, he's going to make sure you got that shot.
Oh yeah, I mean,
all of these governors and mayors and whatever, they exempt these players because they talk about it's the travel. They got to travel all over the place and do this and that. Well, aren't those the people that you want jabbed the most? Just like the stupid post office.
That's the exact reason to do it.
I think Salty put out the video and said, you're not going to mandate the shot for the one person that's going to go to every single house on the block every single day. 5 days, 6 days a week. The mailman doesn't have to get the shot. Yeah. Come on.
I know. And another thing is, circle back Psaki. Is that her name? I mean, when she was asked about all Americans got to be mandated to have the shot, but the people throwing across the southern border don't need it. And she goes, that's correct. That does not make sense to me at all.
Common core math, man.
Yeah. Oh. I don't know. I tell you what, if you guys will take care of me, I won't get the shot when it comes down to it. I don't plan on taking it unless I said I know I'm making an excuse, but I can't. I mean, I'm unprepared. I'm glad that you guys are so prepared that you can go without money and food for a while. I can't.
Hey, look, let me explain something about these preppers. And I know a bunch of my friends are preppers. Ain't nobody prepared for what the government can do to you. This Joe Biden character and the people who really run this country, they could end your life anytime that they want and make it so miserable that you'll do almost anything. They've got a lot of devious power if they want to use it. The good thing is we got a bunch of dolts in our politics who really don't know how to be evil. They just are trying. And they're stupid, so they fail at it so much.
Yeah. So, yeah. Just, I might go be that. I was watching some show the other day about the naked people living in the woods who have gone, what's the word? Feral? Is that the name? Is that what we call somebody that's turned back to the wild? They're, that's what I was watching some show where human beings have been spotted in the woods, you know, naked because they've gone back to being wild people. You know, maybe that's what I need to do. Get out there in the woods, you know. So I don't know. It's just I don't have any answers. I really don't. I got a lot of questions, but no answers.
It comes down to what's in your heart. You know, are you willing to just go along, get along? Do you have lines? You know, and then you got to be honest with yourself, because a lot of people will claim one thing and then get in a situation and they'll do something different. So, you know, that's just one of the first steps, is be honest with yourself. But, you know, a lot of people have different lines. I think there's a not a good percentage, but a percentage of people that just, you know, doesn't matter what you try to force them to do, they're not going to do it. And I don't know if that's where it actually stems from. Maybe just the, you know, pure spirit of America, in my opinion. I don't know, but yeah, it's definitely something that's going to be a hard thing for a lot of people. So even like you, Rick, but yeah, everybody's got different lines. So that's what we'll see.
Actually, just came up with. I never even thought about that. Roll call says here, go get certified for pistol instruction and do it for people with disabilities. Make your own business. That's something to think about, isn't it? Yeah.
that's something that you can incorporate in no time because you got Wheeled and Well Armed in Georgia, you got Patriot in Michigan, you got Guns and Barbecue in Pennsylvania. You know, people all over the country that are disabled and are into firearms. So Rick's Disability Training Incorporated could be huge.
Yes, but I got to keep it under 100, or they all got to get vaccinated.
Hey, that's all right.
That was just a little joke, you know. So, yeah,
that's not bad. I mean, really, I mean, is that
Patriot
viable?
trying to give free training away to somebody, and it took him months to find somebody even to reply? I'd be a little, I don't know. I'd think on that one.
They say they had, Rokoff says they say they have dogs that can sniff out the coof now. They are using them at airports. That wouldn't surprise me at all. You know? So that surprised me. They have dogs that can sniff that out. They have, I mean, is it dogs or cats? One of those animals can tell if you got some of them can find cancer in your body. You know, so that wouldn't surprise me if they could find the virus in you. So, anyway, I don't know about our Indiana governor, Rocco. Is he saying hell no to the president, or is he the rhino I think he is? That's what I want to know. So, I was just curious. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. You can train anybody, but I would train people with disabilities. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. I'm going to look into that. That actually is not a bad idea. Mind you, I went shooting, change the subject slightly. I went shooting Thursday. You know, took the old AR-15 off the wall there. It's cleaned and back up there now. But, you know, I got the iron sights worked out. The red dot is held 0, so I'm good there. So I just shot 60 rounds, two 30-round magazines. Didn't want to waste too much ammo because I ain't got no primers yet. And then I pulled out the old 380 Performance Setter with the fluted barrel and the gold-looking trigger and everything else, and got to my target, and I could not hit the broadside of a barn. It was pitiful. It was absolutely pitiful. I was embarrassed, you know, because I haven't shot my sidearm in 6-7 months. I was embarrassed. But what made it worse was, as I've told you all before, if I'm wearing contact lenses, right, the way mine are monovision or whatever you call them, my left eye is for distance, my right eye is for close up. I'm right eye dominant when it comes to shooting. So when I'm holding it right-handed, I can see the sights no problem. But I'm wearing my glasses because I can't. So I'm wearing my glasses when I go shooting. And I couldn't, I mean, because these are bifocals, but they don't have the line in them. But, you know, they're what they call them, progressive lenses, because it flips from the bottom half is for reading or close up. So I'm having to hold my head up and trying to line up the sight and everything. Oh, man, it was embarrassing.
When was the last time you got glasses, Rick?
Like
a new prescription, not like you sat on that pair and you just went and replaced them. Like, when was the last time you had your eyes a new prescription?
It was about 2 years ago.
I think you're due for a new prescription.
I am. And actually, I'm going to wait under my insurance plan, every 2 years, my insurance pays for a new prescription and a new pair of glasses. So in January, I'm going to go get some.
Well, that's what it sounds like to me is the glasses that you got on your face aren't set for your eyes anymore.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. So in January, I'm going to go back to the eye doctor, have my eyes tested again, and get them redone. and my insurance pays for them. But in the meantime, I got to figure out some way of shooting my handgun with these glasses on. Because yes, I can wear my contacts, and I normally do, but I'm down to my last pair now, and I haven't ordered any new ones. I mean, and be honest with you, because I can't afford them right now. That's why I haven't ordered them. With everything else going up, the spare cash just isn't there for that kind of stuff. And so realistically, but say somebody busts my door down during the middle of the night, I'm going to grab my glasses to see with. So I'm going to have to get back I'm going to have to figure out how to shoot with these things until I can get a new pair, basically.
A lot of the chats talk about this, like when you're in your house in a confined area and it's a self-defense, are you really using that sight, or are you more point and shoot?
I'd be point and shoot.
And I don't mean, you know what I mean by point, like point at your target and get a good shot. Like, just you're not necessarily looking at your sights when you're blasting the bad guy in your house at 3 a.m.
Well, to be honest with you, when I'm sitting in my recliner and I have my little laser pointer in it and I'm dry firing, 9 times out of 10, I point the gun at what I want to shoot at and pull the trigger and see if the laser beam hits what I'm pointing at. And I get pretty damn close. If I was put it this way, I might not hit the target dead on where I was aiming, but I'm hitting center mass on if it was a body there. You know what I'm saying? So, because I aim
with the stress of the situation, most people are going to point center mass, and
Roll call says, Rick, be a man, sleep with the glasses on. Okay, Roll call did answer me. I didn't say it. He goes, yes, we are in the same situation as many of the other states that Joe said challenge it in court. Hokum is a rhino, but even Todd Young said that ain't going to fly in Indiana. Okay. All right. So I was just curious.
Just want to add, if spare money's an issue, an NRA instructor is probably going to be an issue because you got to go through several classes. Just point that out. So maybe look, you can go right to their website and it'll tell you become an instructor, and it gives you a long list. So, and there's obviously a test you have to qualify to at. So keep that in mind. Not trying to be a downer, just pointing out the stuff everybody overlooks.
No, I agree with you. It's all kind of stuff. I wouldn't. If say a class came up this weekend, for people to go qualified to be an instructor, I couldn't afford it this weekend. But if I plan for it, I'll be able to do it. That's what I'm saying.
You got to take the basic classes first, and then you can do the instructor class.
I understand that. I was just okay. They're having a basic class this weekend.
No problem.
I couldn't afford to do it. Does that make you happier now?
No.
And when I said
just pointing it out there.
Well, I'm saying because of the way things are going, gas is going up, groceries are going up, everything's going up, but my money's not going up. Contact lenses right now are a luxury. I have glasses I can see, so I'm good to go. So I'm not buying any contacts. That's where I was getting at.
So what's your, envision your first year on the homestead? What's the end of that first year look like for you? Just a garden growing, or are you looking as far into the first year as having, some animals on there? Like, what do you think if you started
realistically?
This is fantasy, so Rob, keep muted.
My first year, I would have
realistic fantasy.
I would have
a 10-bedroom mansion built on the thing.
I would have a little I would get if it didn't have a building on it, I would get me a little shed and convert it to a house over time. You know, I would have raised garden beds, and what I would use if I couldn't find the wood to make them, I would use old water troughs that, the metal ones they use for cattle.
Yeah.
Use 2 or 3 of those, and I would only plant stuff that I know I'd eat, like corn, green beans, that kind of stuff. I wouldn't grow stuff that I ain't going to eat. I'm not going to grow squash because I don't eat squash. That kind of stuff. But I would only grow, so I'm only thinking maybe 3 or 4 raised beds for what vegetables I want. Some laying chickens for eggs, and if I need to eat a chicken, I'll kill one of them. And then I was thinking maybe a couple. This is my first year. I would have a couple of hogs. That's what I envisioned the first year.
See, I can get along with all that until you get to the hogs part. I think that might be like a second year kind of thing that you should focus on. Because it's a lot more to having just chickens than you think, especially if there's a wooded background. There's all kinds of stuff in them woods that like to eat chickens.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
What happens if you like the chicken? Maybe it becomes your best friend. Then what?
When you're farming, you don't have friends, animals, except for my 2 cats.
No, you convince that chicken to keep all the other ones in line.
Yeah. Then when it's time for them all to get slaughtered, the one that pushes them all through the line, he's the last guy. You grab him and do him at the same time as the rest of them.
No, do that to a friend. That's hard.
Hey, the U.S. government done it to the Indians.
Hey, you can get a new friend next year, Rick.
I mean, hey, when they captured Geronimo, the Apaches that helped them, they got thrown on the prison train too at the same time.
That chicken should have knew better than to trust you in the first place.
Realistically, I think it would be, raised beds and chickens in the first year. Plus work. I said if I had to buy a shed and convert it to a home, that would take a lot of financing and work. You know what I'm saying? But I got, so
that's why I think you should try to figure out a place where you could live and have the property at the same time for that first year. Because if you theoretically just moved out of your house right now and moved to your homestead tomorrow, you'd be dead before the first end of the year. The weather, you'd probably die from the weather exposure. I don't know how bad it gets in Indiana, but I can't imagine that you sleeping in the little lawnmower shed throughout the winter is going to work out.
No, the little shed has to be insulated, but it can be done. So
a little shed that insulated needs to be a big shed because you can't insulate little sheds because then there's nothing left.
Well, when I say
plastic ones, because you can't.
When I say a shed to home, you can buy them now, and I'm thinking it's something sort of like 12 by 20.
Something like the size of a garage, like a basic 2-car garage.
I'm thinking 12 foot wide, 20 foot long type thing. That's what I'm looking at. And just basic, because the ones they build today are damn. There are some really nice ones out there. I've been looking. There's some real nice ones out there.
Most you can deliver it and put it up for you too.
There's a place. Oh, it's about 30 miles from here. I can't think of the name of the town now. It slipped me, but they make the sheds, right? They got all different designs. You can even have a little porch on it if you want, But they do one there where they insulate it for you. They're put all the electric hookups in there, like the plugs on the walls and stuff like that for you, and deliver it set it up where you want it, and a 12 by 20 would be around, I think they said around $14,000.
Yeah.
And they do finance and no credit check.
Do you have on that $29,000 lot? You said something about sewage and water and all that was available. So I'd imagine electricity is available too.
It says electric. Hang on, where is it?
Yeah,
It doesn't say
sewage was
sewer.
in
It didn't say sewer on
my
it.
part.
It didn't say sewer on it, but it said. Hang on.
Probably be septic anyway.
It said water and electric, and access to the U.S. forest.
That saves you thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, or a big no, we're not going to do that. I don't care what you want. Trying to get electricity run to a new place is almost impossible.
Yeah. So I mean that's why it's almost $9,000 an acre, because you're paying for that electric and water that's already on there. Which ideally is what I want. I mean I've been looking here in Indiana for straight rural land. This part of Indiana is roughly around $6,000 to have water, electric, sewage, or that kind of stuff on it. Goes up to $10,000 an acre. So I said, that's what I'm looking at. That's what I want. I only want a couple of acres, 2 acres at the most. If I could get more at a decent price, I might consider it, but 2 would be big enough for what I want to do. Even 1 would be, really.
You said the woods backing it up is state property?
Yeah.
So it's pretty much locked up that there's not going to be a development there next year.
Well, not according to New York.
Well,
there's going to be some wild bird that's moves onto my land, and they're going to confiscate my land from me.
That's very possible. That's
possible anywhere in the country.
Well, it's a lot more possible in California because they do that all the time out there. But if it's state wooded property, like state forest property, then you got a good at least 10 years before they decide to chop it all down and put up, suburban neighborhoods.
It's possible they could do that too.
Yeah, but by the time that happens, you won't care anymore.
No, I'll be in a no people's home. Yeah. Well, talking about that, I don't plan to. I'll be honest with you, this week, because I was looking at I didn't even fill my tank up in my truck this week. This time, I only put half a tank in it. Because that's roughly all I use. I normally use around 3/4 of a tank. So I'm running on 3/4 right now of a tank. That lasts me the month. But where was I going? I was looking at my finances.
Run it off.
Put it this way: I've got a application coming. They've got a little housing project thing in Birdseye, which is 4 miles down the road, for people 62 and over with a disability housing. And it's based on you, and the rent and everything's based on your income. Right? So, I'm on Social Security disability, so it'd be a percentage of whatever, I don't know. I don't know the rules of how much what percentage they want from your money to cover everything. I don't know. But I've even asked them to send me an application. No, that's not what I want, but might be what I have to end up doing if this country gets any worse right now. And I think it's going to get worse before it gets better. That's the scary part. And that's why I wanted to have a couple of acres and grow chickens and shit like that. Even if I just get a few laying hens, then some meat birds. That would cut down on some of my grocery bill. And same with growing like corn, beans, potatoes, the vegetables I eat would save money that way. That's what I was looking at. Then where I was looking at the hogs, a couple of hogs, was the meat, for the freezer or whatever.
Well, there's also. Do you know anything about natural vegetation, like edible wild plants?
No,
All right. Do you know about the hunting rules in that area?
yeah. I mean, I do. I mean, I don't know close.
What are you doing,
but
Ron?
I know what seasons, what's starting, and what you can shoot and what you can't shoot.
There you go. I mean, birds and
I
squirrels.
mean, it's
Man.
squirrel season right now. Dove, you can shoot squirrels, doves right now. Rabbit and turkey season's coming up.
There you go. There's plenty of food to eat while your chickens are getting fat.
Yeah.
I think you should look into that housing deal. And I know, everybody's gonna say I'm pissing on your dreams.
Yes,
but
you
can
are.
still go out. There's gardens and parks and things you can get into because you're forgetting the practical aspect. Going out, starting on your own homesteading, not having any kind of idea, just gonna learn everything, isn't gonna go smooth. And you're by yourself, and you're older, and you're not in the best physical condition. So, when you look at that, can you do it? Sure. Go right ahead. I mean, if that's your dream, that's what you want to do, knock it out. But more than likely, especially with the way you are about your medical and stuff, at some point it's going to become too much after you've invested all this out there, and you're going to have to be brought back in anyway, like into society, I'd state, because you're going to want the government health care. So, you're going to, being way out in the woods ain't going to work like that. So, it's just being realistic, man. I mean, but that doesn't mean you can't save money at a place like that and not have to cut your own
also
grass.
worries me.
Still go out and do something on your family's place or whatever you want. You can still have your cake and eat it too, depending on how you play.
What worries me though, I know in Rhode Island and Connecticut, I don't know the rules have changed when I lived up in that area. Like this place, that is for 62 and older and disabled. A lot of I know definitely in Rhode Island, I believe it was Connecticut too, is those places would not let you have firearms.
Yeah, I was going to mention that.
That could be a problem.
Remember a couple weeks ago, I might have been the
That's
last
true
time I
in
was on the
Georgia.
chat. But
That's true in Georgia. No firearms in the 55, but only in the high rise. If it's a single family structured, you can still have whatever you want.
Okay.
Didn't you have a brother that's got a farm that you were talking about buying a lot from him?
Oh, a cousin, my first cousin. Yeah, he hasn't said it anymore, and I'm not pushing it. I might go see him again.
No,
actually, I gotta go see him Monday anyway. I owe him $20 for the gunpowder.
If you don't, that's the cream of the crop right there. There's your having your cake and eat it too. You buy a lot in the corner of one of his farms somewhere, and if you get scared at night and you need a teddy bear, you can walk down to his house and borrow one from his kids. So it's not like you can still be off on your own. They won't bother you. You don't bother them. You got extra corn from your grow. You can give them to them. They got extra tomatoes from their grow. They can give them to you. And you're off away from society, but not out in the middle of nowhere alone. And if it gets cold and nasty, or a bear attacks your window and now you got a giant hole in your house during the middle of the winter, you got somewhere you could go and get out of the elements while you repair your window. Well, what if your thing gets hit by lightning or catches on fire? Who knows what might happen, So if you got a chance to have family close by, I'd get on that one first.
Well, yeah,
I wouldn't think about anything else until you talk to him.
I mean, that was one of the reasons I moved to Indiana in the first place, is to be close to family. I mean, I know they're cousins and shit, but in case, because I'm getting older and I'm just, disabled, in case things go wrong, there's somebody there. I mean, like my cousins, when I went and had my hip operation, they took me up there. They brought me home. They actually stayed with me here for a couple of days when I first came home to make sure I can move around okay and all that. So that's one of the reasons I moved here. And that's why I said when looking for land, I wanted to stay in this general area where they're all at. You know, I can't, I mean, nothing wrong with the area, but I mean, there's no point me moving up to like where roll call lives, way up on the other side of the state when I have no family there. I might as well move back to Rhode Island. You know what I mean? So.
Oh God, no! Roll call have you in the coop.
Yeah, but you understand what I'm saying? I mean, it'd be just like moving somewhere else to a different state. If I moved here to be near family. I know it's not my immediate family, i.e., my kids, but that's another long story. You know, they talk to me and shit, but we're not close. That's just the bottom line of it.
Just pretend like you got elected to office. So lie, cheat, and steal as much as you can next time you talk to your cousin and convince him how good it is for him to let you get a lot on his back property somewhere.
I'm working on that one. I'm going to do it again because he's talking about selling his beautiful hunting rifles that he would go out west to shoot. And he says he can't go out there anymore. Now, I'm going to tell him, let me stay here and I can keep an eye on your property, feed your chickens and your dogs for you while you go out west.
And you don't have to sell them rifles either.
Yeah,
I'm going to
exactly.
be paying you rent. Yeah, I'm going to pay you rent.
Oh, Rick said, Patriot said, Rick, you should move in with Rob. I hear he's got a whole bunch of extra space and salads. You know, I don't think I could eat that much salad.
You can do that, but we don't deal with excuses around here, so you better keep your damn room.
You know. Well, excuse me.
Bless you.
Yeah, thank you. So that's we definitely gone back to, you know, that's what I want to do. That's my dream. I mean, there's three. Jason, should I go to the old people's home or should I try to do my dream?
Oh, you got to stay out of that old folks' home, man.
I know. I don't want. I mean, I really don't want to, but I'm just thinking of it, the financial side of shit. You know, so I don't know how much percentage they would pay.
Not an old folks' home.
You know,
it's probably assisted living or government housing.
Hey, they're all over 62. They're all over 62. They've got disabilities. Why the hell do I want to live there for?
Look, man, in places like that, it'll cost twice as much as what you got. They'll take everything you got, and they'll treat you terrible.
You know?
Plus, you want to be around all those miserable people.
And if they're not miserable,
then it'd be like living next door to Rob, wouldn't it?
Look, if they're not miserable, you know that they're extra peppy. Like, you want, like, some 98-year-old woman that's about 3 feet tall but in excellent shape coming up to you talking about, hey, Rick, let's go for a jog today. You know, that'll be annoying, too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Actually, I know two people that live in one, and both of them thought they were going to hate it, and they got there, and they love it. They don't want to, they're feeling lazy, don't want to go out to eat. There's somewhere in there where they make some type of food. You could go down and be social, or you can just go buy yours and take it back. Delivery, elevators, the cleanliness, things are broke, it's fixed.
These are one bedroom apartments.
Get in the places, so you don't have to worry about. Yeah, but for the price that people end up paying, like the one guy was bitching, saying they're getting greedy because of the college kids, which they don't let college kids in these places anyway. But needless to state, he's complaining he's paying $230 a month for a one bedroom. I'm like, well, I don't know where you think you're going to get something better than that. Like, I wouldn't be complaining. The
Yeah.
average is over double that. So
Yeah.
parking spot, parking passes. They don't interfere with your. There's different levels. It's not like one of them. What I assume Rick's speaking of. There's different level buildings in a sense, but things are up to code. It's actually can be a big lift off your shoulders in a sense if they're not trying to rule your life. No guns, blah blah blah, all that type of stuff. So I would definitely recommend looking into it, but. It's not as bad as you may think, and who knows? Where else you gonna meet a chick, Rick? Come on, man. I mean, she might be on the floor right next to you. You know what I mean? Hey,
these are all grand. I mean,
people get freaky over there.
I've driven over there to see what it is here in town. It's all. I mean, they're all single apartment. I call them 1-bedroom apartments. They're like what I'm living in now, ground level, and it's sort of like a 3-sided. It's sort of like a horseshoe down one side, across the back, and up the other side. And as you drive up to it, so they're all joined. They're all 1-bedroom. Would you call them apartments, or they're all attached? They're all,
You would probably actually be able to save money living there and buy your.
Well, where I'm going, they take a percentage, like my Social Security money. I earn X amount, and they say, well, everything's going to cost you 40% of what you earn, Social Security wise. You know what I'm saying? It works on that, but I don't know how much the percentage of it is they want. They're not going to take it all, because I'm going to have some living money anyway. They don't
people on Social Security in New
what
York
I'm saying?
that live in those buildings, and their rent's like $230 a pop.
I mean, there's nobody coming in checking on you or anything.
Same income.
Cheap housing area.
No.
Yeah, Okay, yeah. As Vanessa said, it's one level, multi-housing, townhomes type thing, is what it is.
We got a giant retirement community about 10 minutes from where I live at, and this place is pristine. They got a couple little putting ranges where you can chip and putt, and the grass is kept better than any PGA golf course. It's not cheap. It's a retirement community, and it's not cheap. But just because, you mentioned, crappy neighborhoods. Not all these retirement communities are in Baltimore City ghettos.
Yeah.
Some of these retirement communities are actually quite nice. But I'm on team. Tell your brother you're moving in, and then just show up. Don't even give him a chance to tell you no. Just start digging a hole where you're going to plant your tomatoes.
That's why you don't let your.
But anyway, we're all getting off the subject of my little homestead that I want. That's my dream, and that's what I'm trying for. Whether I'm looking. See, it's knowing Rob, because what's making me go this route, and even applying for the application for that living place for the disabled thing, is I'm thinking negative. Right, I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, well, inflation.
You like easy.
I'm thinking, I feel I'm not there yet, and I got a ways to go, but I feel like I'm getting like I was in Rhode Island. Everything was it was starting to cost me to live more than I was getting. You know what I'm saying? And I had this feeling that I'm going to be in debt before long, and I don't like it. That's what's bothering me. So, and I don't mind. Where did Jason go off to? He disappeared on us, and I don't want to feel like that. And the only thing that's making me feel like that is my perception of the state of the country right now. And I personally, I think it's going to shit. And I see inflation going up even higher, prices and stuff. Because all these people who are going to quit their jobs because they don't want to get the vaccine, these companies aren't going to find other people to fill those positions unless they pay more. Then they start paying people more. That means the products they're selling goes up, which means when you buy it, you're paying more for it to cover the higher wages they're paying their people. It's a vicious cycle.
It's already started. Some companies are paying more for vaccinated employees.
You're right. You're right, Vanessa. Homestead on a relative's property might be good, and I'm working on him. I don't see him that often because when I go around there, he's never home. He's out hunting or hanging out with his friends or whatever. So, it's one of these things you got to catch him. I could call him up and say, I'm coming over tomorrow. But, maybe that's what I should do. I just normally drive by because he's only what? Going across the hill, down over through the hollow and back up the other hill. He's only about 3 miles from me. But going the long way around, he's about 7. But if I go down by the mill, turn down the road, cut across the farmland, down on the dirt road, well, gravel road, go under. They got a tunnel that goes under the railroad bridge, under the railroad tracks. You go underneath there, down through the woods. It's all gravel. You can get this house in about 3 miles from here. It's definitely Sasquatch country, I'm telling you. So, is there any extra property next to Deb's? Deb's like, no, but Deb's would be walking distance if I was able to walk that far from that assisted living place. Same town.
How far away is Deb's from the cousin's farm lot?
Oh, it would be about same distance I am right now, except in a different direction. Maybe an extra half mile.
What time does Deb's close at night?
Oh, she opens at I think she opens at 5 a.m, closes at 1:30 in the afternoon.
So you could wash dishes for her if you really got into a crunch.
Yeah.
Okay.
She would actually. Deb likes me. See, Deb likes me also. 2 of my cousins grew up with her, and they're very friendly.
Yeah, but
right?
You don't want no favors.
What I'm saying is, she would more likely feed me if I told her I was that bad off.
Well, yeah, I get it. If you were starving and you needed a meal, I'm sure she would take care of you. But you'd be much better off to go up to her and be like, "Hey, why don't you let me wash dishes 2 days a week and see how it works out?"
Yeah, oh yeah. But yeah, so I'm going to go over and see my cousin again. I owe him $20 for the gunpowder he sold me a couple of weeks ago.
Well, tell him the whole thing about the inflation thing. Tell him about the prices going up and this going up and that going up. And then when you're telling him that, tell him, don't you think it'd be really nice for you to have $399 a month of tax-free money, cash handed to you? I don't know how much. I just made that number up. But until you start actually developing anything, nobody needs to know that you live there, and you could just rent that out cash.
Yeah, that's another thing too. Where I said I wouldn't mind paying for it, they hold the note. If it was if it's my cousin's land, if he would let me run chickens and my own garden, chickens maybe let me have a hog or run it, or even he's got pasture land because he has horses. Let me run a steer. You know what I'm saying? I'm just looking at the meat side. It's just that a steer takes roughly 18 months to get ready to go to be slaughtered. A hog, you can do it in about 8 months.
If you don't have anything on paper, you're taking a risk when it comes to rent payments and things like that. So, it's rare, but people die. Banks don't recognize agreements and this and that. And people get screwed. It does happen.
That's
Happen
why
in
you
my
spend.
opinion.
That's why you spend that first 6 months paying cash under the table to see if you're going to survive or not. And then once you can survive, you got to do what Rob is telling you and get on paper, because your friendly cousin could be a really unfriendly cousin after he's got about $10,000 of your cash.
Yeah, true. So,
But you also don't want to sign up to a deed that's going to put you 7 years paying a bank off or whoever, and then hate it after the first week that you start doing it.
absolutely. I know. So it's something I got to look into, and I need to look into it fast. Instead of talking about it, I need to get off my fat ass and start doing it.
You got a tent?
You know?
Do you have a tent?
Yes, I do, actually. Brand new one. It's about 15 years old, and it's still in the original box that I bought it in. I've never opened it.
Do you have a Playmate cooler?
Was it cheap when you bought it?
No, it wasn't, actually. It was an expensive one.
I was gonna say, if it's cheap, just throw it away. The glue shot, the coating shot, is it?
It's a box full of
Everything will
confetti
probably
now.
rip when you put it together.
Do you got a cooler? Like a beer cooler or Iceman or whatever they call them? Something you can keep food in for a weekend.
Yes, I do.
You got a flint stick or a lighter. But basically, here's what you do. Next weekend, go camp on your cousin's farm. Set up a tent off in the corner where as far away as you can really stand to be, and spend Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then come home Monday morning. And there you go.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I could go. I could survive for a weekend. I got the stuff to do it. I got the tent. I've got the cooler. I got the stuff to start a fire. Actually, I've even got, if it hasn't been misplaced, I've even got one of them little collapsible gas stove things.
When was the last time you've done it?
What? Camping?
Gone to camp on your own.
Camping.
Yeah.
It's been a while. Been about 15 years.
Probably should.
Well, see, it's 15 or 16 years. It's back to the tent thing. The year before, we had gone camping, right? And I borrowed we all went up there. We all had separate tents. A friend of mine lent me one. It rained that night. I got soaking wet because it wasn't waterproofed, right? So we were meant to go up. We made arrangements to go up the fall. Anyway, as the months went by and went through the winter, we made arrangements to go up again soon as spring came, camping. So I bought this tent, but the camping trip never materialized. So it's been sitting in my wardrobe when I was in Connecticut and Rhode Island. It's sitting in my bedroom cupboard, wardrobe, whatever you want to call it, for 15 years.
How much did it cost?
Well, when I bought it,
Yep.
I don't know, about $50.
That was $50 that you just threw away 15 years ago. Now, on a spur of the moment, you went out and bought a novelty item and never touched it. After you get off the show and you're going to go make your dinner, look around the rest of your house and look at all the novelty items that you bought on a spur and never ever used. And then imagine imagine you sleeping in the woods.
I've got a lot of those spur of the moment things.
Look, Rob and I might be downers, but we're just trying to keep you alive, Rick.
You know? Yeah. I've even got a backpack sitting here on a chair behind my desk here that I started to fill up with stuff. That was my shit hit the fan bag. Grab that and go. There's even there's even water in there in these containers. And it's good. I mean, the water is good for about 20 years or some shit. I got it sitting in the bottom of that bag right now. There's all kinds of stuff in there. There's food. There was food in there, I believe. You know, like bars in there and stuff.
I
So
have a better idea for you, Rick. Set that tent up in your front yard tonight, and then join Gary for the early bird tomorrow.
yeah, see the only problem with camping is sleeping on the ground. I don't think I can do it anymore.
I had to unmute because I'm cracking up.
You know,
Get in
sleep
there.
on the ground. I just couldn't do it anymore. I don't think. I would need a cot or something. You know. So
Cots are heavy. Air mattresses, man. You think you can get them for like $10 now? You got to blow it up. I mean, God forbid you don't have a pump or something, but it's air mattress is a blessing when you're camping. I would say that I call that kind of luxury camping, but if you
Hey Rob, do those air mattresses hold up to like cold temperatures? You know how if you leave a basketball outside in the cold, it'll deflate a little bit. Like, do they deflate in the cold, or do they hold up pretty well?
I haven't noticed them to deflate, but they do get cold as hell. I wouldn't recommend it in cold temperatures.
Another thing I thought of doing.
No insulation between you and the ground, in a sense. It gets cold.
Another thing I thought of doing, and I was going to do this when I lived in Rhode Island, but I never did. I bought more guns with the money. I had lined up to buy a Class C mobile home. That's not the real big ones. That's not the van size. It's the in-between ones. It was old, but it was in great condition. It was going to cost me. They only wanted $3,000 for it. I was thinking of buying one of those and live in that and just, drive around in it. And when it was time to go to bed, I just pull over and go.
That's extremely dangerous kind of lifestyle.
Because
you might pull over in Detroit one day and never get to start that thing again.
Yeah, so I'm just saying. That was an idea I had. But anyway, it's 4:30 already. It's 4:30. Anyway, my quiz before people start leaving. My quiz. I had 3 entries. Only one of them was correct. One was half right. You only got half of it right. So I've only got one correct entry. And would you believe every time this guy enters, there's 2 people that always enter and always win. One's G23. He didn't enter this one, so he didn't win. The other one is John Brown Productions. He entered. He got it correct. So he's the winner of the deck of playing cards, Firearm Inventors, and some patches and shit. And then I believe Gun Loving Grandpa was thrown in a target, I believe. So that was the prize, and just one entry. John Brown Productions is the winner. So he wins it.
Got to be in it to win it.
Yeah, that's right. And the question was, for people who don't get confused. Where is it? The question was, what I wanted to know, what was so special about the firearm in the Matrix movie, and what firearm did Agent Smith carry? Well, Agent Smith carried the Desert Eagle Mark. I can't remember. What's that? 19 pistol? Chamberlain 50 caliber or Action Express or something. That was the firearm. But the other thing about the Matrix was, believe it or not, people say it wasn't, but it was. It was the first movie to feature the third generation Glock 19, I believe. You know, people say the movie End of Days was the first one. It wasn't. Matrix was the first movie to show the third generation Glock pistol. That was the answer I was looking for, and John Brown Productions got it right.
I hated that part of the movie.
You know. Okay, now let me do this one for the next quiz, which is 2 weeks from now, which will be the 25th of September. So you got 2 weeks to look the answer up, and right now it's I think there's 3-4 patches in there, some stickers in there right now. That's what's in there. And the question is, hang on, you have to look this one up. What I want to know, I want the name of the person, company, basically it's almost the same thing, who made rifles for the Continental Army, and later on, around 1792-ish, he got a contract to furnish rifles to the United States Army. You know, the old long rifle, or got, you know, the Pennsylvania rifle or the Kentucky rifle, as it got named after a while. So I want to know the name of the person or the company that made rifles for the Continental Army and later had a contract to supply them with rifles. That's it. Email me at rickslifeasiseeit@gmail.com or spottedrick@gmail.com. So there we go. So that's the question for the next quiz. I think it's a tough one. Took me a while to figure out what to say for a quiz to get you guys.
Gaston Glock is the answer.
You know, he's close. He's old enough. So anyway, back to what we were saying. What were we talking about? Guys talking about me going to camp, and I'm too old to camp, but I'm not too old to homestead. I was thinking about this. I mean, yes, I have to move slow, you know, because I can't move fast because of my back, you know. So, I mean, I would maybe have to rest every now and then in between doing jobs too. But I mean, what else is there for me to do? Unless I'm giving shooting instructions, you know, shooting lessons or whatever. But just puttering around on my couple of acres feeding my chickens.
Do you have any, I guess the generic term like it uses like apex predators? Like, do you have bear or coyotes? I know you're not really.
We have coyotes here, but not. There's coyotes here, but not a lot of them. The main pest around here is damn raccoons, and raccoons will go for your chickens.
Nothing that you visit, nothing that's gonna be dangerous to a human being. Because a coyote, I mean, they're dangerous, but yeah, human beings should be able to handle a coyote, no problem.
Oh yeah. That's what I got an AR-15 for.
Right, yeah. Most of them aren't going to come around you unless they're really, really desperate anyway.
Yeah. And a raccoon will go after your chickens, but they're mainly going after the eggs, but they're eat the chicken or kill the chickens if they're in the way type thing. You know? But what you do with chickens at nighttime, you train them to go into the coop. You know, and you could you could let them free range, or if you let them out, you put an electric fence around them. There's electric netting you can buy for chickens. You know, because most chickens won't fly away if you give them somewhere to stay. And if they do fly over the net, what you do is you just get a pair of scissors and clip the ends of their wings, then they won't fly. I've been watching a lot of YouTube.
Chickens are easy. Chickens are easy to corral and all that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah.
But there's a lot of stuff, especially depending the size and the brand. I don't know the type of chicken you have. Plenty of them birds will eat your chickens too.
Now
There's all kinds of stuff that'll eat your chickens. So if you got like big Kentucky Fried Chicken type of chickens running around, then you got to worry about fox and coyotes and stuff, not like hawks.
Yeah. Now also, hawks will go after chickens. And stuff like that. But here's the secret: in your flock of chickens, you get chickens that are black. You know, they all don't have to be, but if you have a dozen chickens, get 3 or 4 of them that are black feathered. The reason is most hawks or those predator birds do not like crows. And when they're flying over a flock of chickens and they see black, they think it's crows and they're leaving them alone.
That might be true, but my parents had 7 chickens. Now they have 3, and the 4 chickens that are dead were all black. And now I'm not saying birds got them all, because all kinds of different stuff lives around where my parents are at, and like to gobble up on their chickens. But all the black ones are dead. So
I'm just, But around here there's coyotes, there's foxes, there's raccoons, there's possums, snakes. The only snakes that wouldn't really bother the chickens, but they go after the eggs, are the rat snakes. Big old black things. So.
Yeah, but snakes are easy to maintenance because you're gonna look at your chickens more than once a day.
Oh yeah.
Interact, so you'll be able to see if they're in danger of a snake getting up in there. But
oh yeah,
when you're sleeping at night, all kinds of stuff likes to get in there. My parents basically got like a Fort Knox fortress around their chicken coop right now, and stuff still gets in there and eats them.
They need to electrify it.
Nah, they're not going to go all that far. They figure, if you were savvy enough to get there, you just, enjoy yourself and kill my chicken. No, they're not going to do all that.
No, what I would do is have me a chicken coop and buy some of this chicken netting to go around the coop and the ground and let them roam out around in that during the day, and they go in the coop at night and you lock them in.
My advice would be go about 6 to 8 inches deep around the outside of the fence and bury some fencing. As a fox or whatever, none of them are going to dig like a 3-foot deep hole and come up underneath like a tunnel. They're just going to dig enough so they can squeeze underneath the fence.
Yeah. You're right. Also, if you don't do that, you need to do that. Make sure around if your chicken coop's on ground level, you also need to put something around it because they're buried underneath it trying to get in. They're digging underneath it and all kinds of shit. So.
I know wolves are known to dig.
There's no wolves in Indiana.
That are up to like 18 feet underground.
Hey, there's no wolves in Indiana that I know of.
Not that far off a tree, so I wouldn't be shocked if a dog, coyote, or something, did dig a little.
There was a bear spotted in Orange County, which is the next one of the counties over. It's over one county over.
Last week we had a bear across the street from my house, and last summer we had a bear about a block away from my house.
Yeah. So,
did you guys see that YouTube where the guy's in a tree stand and it looks like his father's in the tree stand next to him, and they let this bear? They're both hunting. They let a bear climb up the tree where the sun is, and the bear gets above his tree stand, and he's about to jump down on him, and then the bear just kind of loses interest and climbs on down. I don't know what those two fools were thinking, but I would have shot that bear as soon as he started up that tree.
I would have too.
I saw that. The bear was face to face with these guys. No,
He
it
was
was a smaller black bear, but
yeah, it
especially
was a
up in
smaller
that
black
tree.
bear, but it still was a 300 pounder.
Yeah, and up in that tree, a human can't fight a bear on the ground. You definitely ain't gonna fight a bear in the tree. And this bear was like face to face with these guys.
He was 18 inches from nose to nose. It was insane.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, guys, I just want to mention that gun loving grandpa threw in another one of those steel targets to shoot at with that prize for that question. So there you go. Maybe give you more incentive to look the answer up. So anyway, guys, it's almost I've been on for an hour and 45 minutes. I wonder why the cats were bothering me. It's past their feeding time. Plus mine, too. I'm throwing some burgers on the grill. You know, and I'll put a salad on them. Some lettuce, onion, and tomato. So
Speaking of, do you have any skill at saving food? Because one tomato plant is more tomatoes than you could think about eating in a season.
oh, you mean like canning, that kind of stuff?
Preserving, canning. Do you have enough people that you could give it away to?
Oh,
What are you
yeah.
going to do? Because
Well,
even a small garden is going to produce more food than you can eat before it
well,
goes bad.
here we go. This is what I was thinking. If I can't eat it and I can't give it away, I throw it to the hogs.
Well, I mean, your chickens could eat a lot of it too. So.
Oh yeah, that's right. Then during the growing season, when that plant dies, you just pull it out and throw it into the chicken where the chickens are, and they're scratch it and eat it. And,
Well, don't forget about your compost. I mean, you got to use some of that old vegetation and stuff as compost for next year.
Yeah. True. Anyway, I'm getting out of here, guys.
Thanks for stopping by.
I appreciate the advice on the homesteading and even the negative advice from New York. But you're not going to break my spirit, New York. You're not going to break my spirit.
We will keep you alive.
I just wanted yeah, see, I mean, gun-loving grandpa could sell some of the vegetables for cash. Put a little stand at the end of the dirt road. Honor system. Out here in the country. So, because what I was thinking with the hogs, 2 is too many for me. I only need 1, but I was thinking maybe selling the other one. But Vanessa did say something interesting. She said, if you can't do the hog yourself, a farmer that raises hogs, get him to raise one for you. So, because if a farmer's raising 7 hogs, to raise 1 more ain't going to make that much difference.
Sub out a lot of the work.
So. Yeah, I mean, it's just something that, I mean, like one of my other cousins said to me, she goes, where in the hell did all this farming stuff come from in you? I said, well, after all these years, I said, it must be finally coming out. Because, my father grew up on a farm before he went into the military. And when he was in the military and when he retired, he was always out in the yard doing something. Mainly growing vegetables. He didn't deal with the animals too much because we lived mainly in towns and shit. So, so the farmer was in me. It's in my genes. It's just fine. It's just finally coming out. After all these years, I've suppressed it for so many years.
Yep. Tell that cousin you're moving in. And it's just done with, man. That way you can get some practice before you
The misfit darling says, the ones who tell you the things you don't want to hear are the ones who are really looking out for you. The rest just want to appease you. I know. I know that Rob's well intentioned there, you know, because I got so many great ideas, and he keeps shooting them all down, you know, because he's looking after me. I understand, you know, but one day I'm going to do something that he's going to approve of. I don't know what it is yet, but more likely moving into that old people's home. You go, good move, you know. So
That might not be a bad idea either. Move into that old people's home, save a little bit of cash from what you're doing right now, and still work on the lot that you're going to talk your cousin tomorrow into letting you take over.
that's not a bad idea. That did cross my mind. You know, there's nothing that says I have to stay in that, you know, thing forever. I don't sign over my whole Social Security check to him. You know what I'm saying? It's just a percentage. The rent and utilities and all that, I believe, it's all based on income. How much income somebody has, then that's what. Because I guess the government subsidizes it, right?
It's no different than any other job that you've ever had.
But
when
if I do something like that and the government subsidizes it, does that mean I have to get the shot?
Probably.
The vaccine?
Probably.
You know?
That hasn't been a thing in New York yet. I haven't heard any such thing. Like I said, I know 2 people that live in government subsidized low-income housing or whatever you want to call it. So neither one has been an issue at this point.
At this point.
Think about every job that you've ever had in your life. And when you went and you punch the clock and then you get in your car, you're thinking, man, I can't wait to get home. What a crappy day. I hate my job, or man, today, or whatever. Even if you had a great day at work and you loved your job, you really just wanted to go home and not be there and unwind. Imagine farming all day, and then when time to go home and unwind is turn around, you're there. So you never get to leave work. That's why, like Rob was talking about, or whatever, start your little homestead thing and do that Monday through Friday or Saturday and Sunday or however many days a week, couple hours a day, and then go home and pace yourself.
Yeah. But one of you also said it. If you're doing something that you want to do or love to do, it's not work.
That's crap, by the way. That's crap, by the way. Because I enjoy doing drywall pretty good, and it's work. I like washing cars. I like fixing cars. I like farming. I like all that kind of crap, and it's all work, even though I enjoy it. And I don't need to do any of that to survive. If you don't go out there and plant that corn, you're going to starve this year.
You're right. You're right. So, all right. I'm out of here, guy. Anyway, New York, you got any plugs or shout outs?
Interested in a badass display. There's one on display right behind you, holding an AR. So
yes, I forgot to mention that R&L displays.
Well, you can.
Yes, go to rnldisplays.com. You know, type in at the checkout. Type in Rick Flies and get 50% discount. You know. Yeah, I went shooting on Thursday night. I sat in front of the TV, cleaned my AR, put it all back together and everything, and stuck it right back on the wall stand there, and there it floats, like it's gravitating there in midair. You know, maybe I need to get if I can afford it. Maybe I should get me another AR and stick on the other one. For I have 2 ARs there, you know. What do you think? Why am I talking about ARs? I can't afford one right now. Not unless I get another stimulus check, you know. So, and that ain't likely. Hey, you know. So anyway,
the
you're breaking up on me.
the whole topic of today, 9/11. So
Yeah.
I was going to say the whole topic of today, 9/11. Whatever people think, obviously keep in mind a lot of good people. A lot of people died that day, unnecessarily, in my opinion. We should keep that in mind. Not let that get forgotten in all the blame or fingers pointing as well. So whether, whatever side of things you are on it, unfortunately, we did lose a lot of life. So that was a tragedy. And at some point, take a minute to yourself to just consider the weight of that. But other than that, thanks for.
All right. Thank you. Mind you, the one thing that, should I say, with the Patriot Act and after that and stuff is the downfall of our way of life is we gave our rights away when we let them do the Patriot Act. And it was only meant to be for a year or two, but 20 years on, the Patriot Act still going strong. They're still listening to us. They're still keeping an eye on the American people, listening to what you're saying. They're more likely listening to this right now. As soon as I go offline, they'll be pounding on my door. So anyway, Kingpin, you got anything?
Nope. Everybody have a good day.
All right. Well and well armed. You got anything?
No, just thanks for having me. I did a video. I've been doing a series of videos on knives every Friday and trying to do some gun tube videos on Saturday and Sunday morning. So trying to get 3 videos out a week. But anyway, I did some stuff for Gun Owners of America midweek. I did 30 pictures for them for a court case. So hopefully that'll help with the pistol brace and move that forward. That's it. Thank you.
Actually, I saw that video of yours about the pistol, about the brace. Made a lot of sense.
Yeah, I was trying to show, or they wanted to show, all those different points of how, they were saying people can't use a 3x magnifier or a variable optic, or couldn't use it with the bipod, or just stupid stuff, that easily is disproven. So,
yeah. All right. I want to say that, and for everybody in the chat, I want to say thank you for stopping by, spending your Saturday afternoon with me. I really do appreciate it. I don't know if G23 is coming on this afternoon or not. I didn't see him in the chat today. So I will see you all on Wednesday at 7 p.m. So, good night, everybody. Goodbye, Sabrina. All right.